This video is intended to be an installment in the short series laying out all the cards in Magic the Gathering that reduce the cost of spells. This installment will focus on creatures that reduce various costs of a wide variety of spells. If you're looking for artifacts that reduce these costs, I've made a video on that as well. You can find that card in the upper right hand of your screen right now. Once again, I'll only be going over the part of these cards that reduce mana costs, even though some cards may have other abilities as well. Now, let's begin. We've got colored cost reducers. First we have the familiar cycle, and there's hopefully going to be 5 more of these with the other color combinations, but we have Stormscape, Sunscape, Thornscape, Nightscape, and Thunderscape familiars. We got green-black, green-blue, red-white, blue-red, and black-green so far, and those help reduce the cost of those colored spells by 1. Grand Arbiter Augustin IV. White and blue spells cost 1 less to cast. Morophon lets you choose a creature type, and then spells of the chosen type you cast cost Wooburg less to cast, and it only affects the amount of colored mana you pay. Now, Herald of Kozilek does colorless spells, but he makes them cost 1 less. Creature cost reducers. Nylea Keen-Eyed, Marauding Raptor, and Duskwatch Recruiter, which transforms into Crawlin Horde Howler, all make your creatures cost 1 less to cast. Centaur Omen Reader. As long as Centaur Omen Reader is tapped, creature spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. Rakdos, Lord of Riots. Creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each 1 life your opponents have lost this turn. Ezerut Channeler makes creature spells you cast cost X colorless less to cast, where X is the amount of life you've gained this turn. Hamza, Guardian of Irration, makes spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on them. Goreclaw, Terror of Kalsizma. Creature spells you cast with power 4 or greater cost 2 less to cast. Frozen Drover. Creature spells you cast with mana value 6 or greater cost 2 less to cast. Watcher of the Spheres and Warden of Evos Isle both make your flying creatures cost 1 less to cast. Animar, Soul of Elements, makes all your creatures cost 1 less to cast for each +1/+1 counter on Animar. Now for tribal reducers. These all do, of course, the creature spells as well, but they do specific creature types. Dragonlord's Servant and Dragon Speaker Shaman help your dragon spells cost less, 1 less and 2 less respectively. The Dragon, as long as the Dragon is in the command zone or on the battlefield, other dragon spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Goblin Warchief and Frog Tosser Banneret make your goblin spells cost 1 less to cast, and Frog Tosser makes your rogues cost 1 less to cast as well. Daru Warchief and Ballyrush Banneret make your soldiers cost 1 less to cast, and Ballyrush Banneret also makes your Kithkin cost 1 less to cast. Otepec Huntmaster, Kinjali's Collar, and Knight of the Stampede all make your dinosaurs cost 1 less, except for Knight of the Stampede, which makes them cost 2 less. Undead Warchief, zombie spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Stonybrook Banneret, merfolk spells and wizard spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Starnheim Aspirant makes your angels cost 2 less to cast. Herald of War makes your angel spells and human spells cost 1 less to cast for each +1/+1 counter on Herald of War. Bosk Banneret, treefolk spells and shaman spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Crozen Warchief makes your beasts cost 1 less. Edgewalker makes your cleric spells cost white, black less, but it only reduces the amount of colored mana you pay. Same with Ragemonger, except it's Minotaurs and it's black-red. Unesh, Cryosphinx Sovereign, makes your Sphinx spells cost 2 less. Stink Drinker Devil, giant spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. Gargos, Vicious Watcher, makes your Hydras cost 4 less to cast. Mistform Warchief, now this one's pretty interesting because it's basically an all-tribal kind of creature. Creature spells you cast that share a creature type with it cost 1 less, and you can tap it to make it become any creature type until the end of turn. Artifact and enchantment cost reducers. Ethereum Sculptor, Founder Inspector, and Enthusiastic Mechanaut. These make your artifacts cost 1 less to cast. Mycosynth Golem. Artifact creature spells you cast have affinity for artifacts, which means they cost 1 less for each artifact you control. Joyrus Familiar makes your historic spells cost 1 less to cast. Starnheim Courser. Artifact and enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Danitha Capuchin Paragon makes your aura and equipment spells cost 1 less. Herald of the Pantheon, Starfield Mystic, and Jukai Naturalist make your enchantment spells cost 1 less. Hero of Iroas and Transcendent Ascendant Envoy make your aura spells cost 1 less to cast. Instant and sorcery cost reducers. Goblin Electromancer, Storm Skrillex, Baral Chief of Compliance. These all make your instants and sorceries cost 1 less to cast. Voracious Reader, which transforms from Curious Homunculus, makes your instants and sorceries cost 1 less to cast. Spectacle Mage makes your instants and sorceries with mana value 5 or greater cost 1 less to cast. Vadric Astral Archmage makes your instants and sorceries cost X colorless less to cast, where X is Vadric's power. Mizzix of the Ismagnus makes your instants and sorceries cost 1 less to cast for each experience counter you have. Moving on to spells of the chosen type cost reducers. We got Cemetery Prowler. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card type they share, with cards exiled with Cemetery Prowler, who can exile stuff from graveyards. Cheering Fanatic. Whenever Cheering Fanatic attacks, you choose a card name, and spells with the chosen name you cast cost 1 less to cast this turn. Council of the Absolute. Now, as Council of the Absolute enters the battlefield, you choose a non-creature, non-land name. Your opponents can't cast spells with the chosen name, but the spells that you cast with the chosen name cost 2 less to cast. And we have Umori the Collector. As Umori enters the battlefield, you choose a card type, and spells you cast of the chosen type cost 1 less to cast. Now, it does say card type and not creature type, so you can choose instant, sorcery, enchantment, artifact, whatever you want. Kind of neat. Last but not least, we have other cost reducers that kind of don't fit into any of those categories, and kind of the last bunch here. Kethis the Hidden Hand makes our legendary spells cost 1 less. Thrix the Sudden Storm. Spells you cast with mana value 5 or greater cost 1 less to cast, and they can't be countered. Cunning Nightbonder. Spells with flash you cast cost 1 less to cast, and they can't be countered. Patrician Geist and Gravebreaker Lamia makes spells from your graveyard cost 1 less to cast. Sage of the Beyond. Spells you cast from anywhere other than your hand cost 2 less to cast. Naiad of Hidden Coves. As long as it's not your turn, spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. I feel like this is kind of a hidden card and it's kind of a fun one. Hinata Dawn Crowned. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each target. Killian Ink Duelist makes spells you cast that target a creature cost 2 less. Accursed Witch, which transforms into Infectious Curse. Everything that targets the witch costs 1 less, but when it flips, the curse attaches to a player, and then it makes the spells you cast cost 1 less to target that cursed player. Alright, hopefully this video was of some value to people. Thank you for watching, and check out the other videos in this playlist. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and send me your deck list so that I can make your own video for you with your deck list. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week for your weekly dose of Magic. To support this channel, visit the TCGplayer affiliate link in the description below. And if you want to support the channel directly, visit patreon.com/ManfredPlusMagic. As a patron, you'll have access to the community Discord where you can talk with myself and other friends about all things Magic. And you'll find even more benefits for each tier, starting at $1 as a copper.